Hello Aries, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business and also in the teaching side of astrology too. And I've got over 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you Aries to this look at your horoscope for you for the months of September and October 2014. First of all, I'm going to tell you a few things about yourself, Aries, and that's always quite a bit of fun. So you are a very go-getting type of person. You've got the ability to commence and start projects and ideas, and you've got a lot of enthusiasm for your ideas in life, Aries. You're very security conscious. You love the beauties of nature. You love walking around among the plants and shrubs and the beauties of nature, the flowers and so forth. You've got a distinct sense of duality in your nature, Aries. You feel sometimes as if there's two people in the one body, and there's many different ways that you communicate too. To those who are close to you, you communicate in a completely different way than what you do when you're in the job, for example, or in the social side of life. And as far as transportation is concerned, there's a duality there too as far as getting from A to B is concerned. You'll always have two means of transport. You know, you'll go to work by train or bus or something like that, and then on the weekend you drive your car, or else you have a car and on the weekend you ride your motorbike or ride your push bike or something. There'll be some duality there as far as your driving and getting from A to B is concerned. You're very home loving, and you do live near the water at some time in your life. Aries, you love having things to do with the water around the place, so you probably have got a fish tank in the home, and if you don't have views of water from home, you probably have pictures on the walls of the ocean or the rivers or whatever. Now, you can be rather possessive in relationships, but you really love the social side of life. You like getting out and about, and you like to be the centre of attention in parties and social functions. You're very much aware of your sexuality, Aries, and that's something that you've asked yourself many times. Why am I so awake, aware and alive about my sexuality when everybody else seems to be half asleep sometimes? You love going out to restaurants and places of amusement, and preferably where there's a lot of other people as well. You like showy dinners, and you like to go out to movies and so forth where there'll be lots of people and that sort of thing. And you have a lot of social activities with any children in your life. You love to revolve your social activities around your children with their sporting interests and recreational interests and artistic interests and things like that. Now, as far as work is concerned, you really like to have a job where you can be of service to people. So you're in the service industry in some way. You could work in the health-related field. You could work in the care in some way, shape or form as a tradesperson. And you're very fussy and particular about diet and hygiene. Very clean person. You love relationships with those who are lovers of music and artistic pursuits. And you seem to really like to fall in love, and you like an attractive spouse. You really enjoy going out to public activities, parades and things like that, and big shopping centres where there's plenty of people. And when you go to a restaurant, you like to be in a restaurant where you've got people walking past and it's like a passing parade. So you enjoy that sort of thing. So that's just a little bit about yourself, Aries, and I can tell you so much more from your own personal horoscope that's more applicable to you individually. What I'm going to do for you now, Aries, is I'm going to tell you some things that are going to be happening in the months of September and October 2014, and I'm going to put it on a timeline. So we'll start at the beginning of September, and then it'll go on a timeline, so that I'll tell you what's happening at the beginning of the month and the type of astrological influences that you'll be experiencing at the beginning of the month, and then any changes to that I'll tell you as it goes. So through the 2-month period, I'll tell you when there's changes to that. In other words, when one of the planets changes into a different house and brings different influences and experiences into your life. I'll be looking at the faster moving bodies that are the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars. So they move through the houses of your horoscope fairly swiftly, and then we've got some variety there with those planetary influences. I'll also look at Jupiter, which takes 12 months to go through a particular house of your horoscope, but I'll tell you what sort of influence that's going to have in your life in the months of September and October. And also Saturn. Saturn takes 2.5 years to transit through a particular house of your horoscope, but I'll tell you what the influence is during the months of September and October as well, as far as Saturn is concerned. So you just sit back and relax now, Aries, and enjoy the journey with me, eh? Now on the 1st of September, Aries, you've got the Sun in the 6th house of your horoscope, so there's a focus upon the job. Mercury is also in the 6th house of your horoscope, so there's definitely a focus upon the job, a focus upon health and dietary matters, and a focus upon service. Venus is in the 5th house of your horoscope to start the month off with. Now what that means, with Venus in the 5th house of your horoscope, there's a focus at the start of the month upon the social side of life. If you're in the market for a romance, then there's an ideal opportunity there with Venus in the 5th house to get out and about and circulate and mix with people and form relationships and so forth. There's happiness through children, and it's also good for speculation and gambling and that sort of thing. So you should buy yourself a lotto ticket or have a bet on a race or something like that. With Venus in the 5th house. Mars is in the 8th house of your horoscope. That activates your sex drive to start the month off with, and there's a lot of inner tension within yourself when Mars is in the 8th house of your horoscope. There's changes that you want to bring about within yourself, but you have difficulty controlling those addictive patterns of behaviour that you regard as your addictions, Aries, when Mars is in the 8th house of your horoscope. Now the first change that we have, Aries, is on the 3rd of September, when Mercury moves into the 7th house of your horoscope. That brings a lot more communication with your spouse, should you have one in your life, your partner. There's a lot more communication too with the general public. So in some way, shape or form, you'll be out there mixing with the general public and communicating somehow, connected with your job, perhaps with the general public. On the 6th of September, Aries, you've got Venus moves into the 6th house of your horoscope, and that begins a cycle of activity socially with the people that you work with. So you'll have a strong desire to get out and about and circulate socially with people that you work with. Romance can spring from the job if you're in the market for a romance. You'll have a love of rich food, make no mistake about that, so you could put on the pounds with Venus in the house of health and food. And there'll be social activities perhaps revolving around domestic pets if you have them in your life. It's a very good time for you for going for job interviews, because you'll find that you'll be more relaxed in a job interview and that sort of thing if you're in the market for a new job. And on the 14th of September, Mars moves into the 9th house of your horoscope. When Mars is in the 9th house of your horoscope, Aries, there's going to be a lot of stress and tension and conflicts with in-laws, if you have any in-laws there in your life, and there'll be arguments and conflicts potentially with people over religious and spiritual matters and differences. There's also danger for you if you're travelling. So if you're going to travel, be very careful of accidents and things like that with Mars in the 9th house of your horoscope. On the 24th of September, Aries, you've got the Sun moves into the 7th house of your horoscope, and that begins a 30-day period. The Sun is predictable because everything else revolves around the Sun. So the Sun, you can tell where it's going to be, and it's going to be there for 30 days in that particular house of your horoscope, whereas the other planets move into different ways and so forth, and move faster and slower, and you go backwards and all sorts of things. Now, with the Sun in the 7th house of your horoscope, there's going to be a lot of extra dealings with your spouse or your partner, a focus upon their life and their activities. So there's a lot more dealings with the general public, and there could be some legal matters come to the fore with Sun in the 7th house of your horoscope. So your partner is going to be wanting to get out and socialise a lot more, I would suggest. On the 28th of September, Aries, Mercury moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. That begins a period of intense change within yourself, and it's a cycle of introspection and reflection and transformation and change within yourself, of aspects of yourself that you feel as if you've outgrown and that you want to get rid of, the addictive patterns of behaviour that you want to get rid of. And there's a lot of focus mentally upon the sexual side of life, and also joint finances that you share with any partner in your life. On the 30th of September, Aries, Venus moves into the 7th house of your horoscope. That's a very good time to strengthen the existing relationships. It'll be a very attractive time for you to enjoy some of those romantic periods with your spouse or partner. It's a good time to get out socially with the general public, to restaurants and places of amusement, large shopping malls and things like that. You'll have a lot of happiness there on the social side of life, mixing in with parades and public walks and all sorts of things like that. On the 5th of October, Mercury goes into a retrograde motion. Now that means that I won't try to explain everything about how that works and how it functions in your life, but it means that in regard to the relationship between the Earth and the Sun, it makes it appear as if Mercury is going in a backward motion. In other words, the Earth is moving a little bit faster forward than what Mercury is, and so it gives the opinion, the idea that Mercury is going backwards instead of going forward. Now, when Mercury is retrograde, it does tend to have you dwelling in the past, so you'll have a strong inclination to dig things up from the past and to dwell in the past. But it also impacts upon two other houses in your horoscope, not just the house that it's sitting in. Now, Mercury will have impact upon, detrimental impact upon your relationship with relatives and neighbours, motor vehicles and things like that, and transportation. Things will go awry with plans for travel and getting from A to B. You have obstacles and obstructions there. And Mercury also impacts, when it's retrograde, upon your 6th house. And so that's going to impact upon you to do with health, dietary matters, and also matters relating to the job. So getting from A to B, or getting from home to work and that sort of thing, getting home after work, there'll be delays and things like that. And the communications with people that you work with just don't seem to go as smoothly as what you would like them to. On the 24th of October, the Sun moves into the 8th house of your horoscope. Now, the 8th house of your horoscope, when the Sun is in there, it focuses your mind upon joint finances that you share with any spouse or partner. It'll focus your attention upon sexual matters, because the 8th house has a lot to do with sexuality. And it'll focus your attention upon joint finances and changes that you want to bring about within yourself, with addictive patterns of behaviour that you feel as if they represent your addictions. And so there's potential for the death of somebody around you when the Sun is in the 8th house of your horoscope. Venus is also in the 8th house of your horoscope on the 24th of October. So it's going to improve things as far as your joint finances are concerned, and it's going to also strengthen your sex drive, especially female. It'll strengthen your sex drive tremendously. And on the 26th of October, Mercury starts going direct again. In other words, it starts going in an apparent forward motion again. So therefore, that's going to mean that the other things that I spoke about with impact upon relatives and to do with your job, they will cease to have that sort of negative impact there on the 26th of October onwards. On the 27th of October, Aries, Mars moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. Now, when Mars is in the 10th house of your horoscope, it's not a good time to pick a fight with the boss. There can be stresses and tensions connected with the work and with people that you work with. And also in business, there can be stresses and tensions to do with business, and stresses and tensions in your life to do with government departments. So it's not a good time through parents. There can be accidents involving parents or arguments and conflicts revolving around parents. And that is the end of the month of October as far as those minor movements are concerned. But what I'm going to do for you now is to delineate, Aries, the Jupiterian influence in your life during this particular period of September and October. Now, Jupiter is a major beneficial influence in our lives, and Jupiter is in that 2-month period is in the 5th house of your horoscope. Now that means that it's a very good time for you, September and October, for speculative matters, gambling and things like that. It's a very good time for you for social involvements and romance and love matters, if you're in the market for a romance and love. It's a very beneficial time for you to do with children and their social involvements and their education and that sort of thing. And it's very, very favourable through a particular time as well. Now, the timing that I'm looking at here is if you've got Jupiter is in the 5th house of your horoscope, okay, and it's moving between 10 degrees in Leo and 20 degrees in Leo. Now, if you have any planets in between 10 degrees Leo and 20 degrees Leo, Aries, it means that Jupiter forms a conjunction with those planets sometime in that 2-month period. Now, when Jupiter forms a conjunction with a planet, it's a very beneficial time in your life. And if you haven't had your horoscope done by me, get it done through my website, and then you know where all your planets are. And if you've got any planets at all in that location between 10 degrees and 20 degrees Leo, you'll know that there's a Jupiter conjunction coming up with those planets sometime in that 2-month period. And that's going to be a very beneficial time for you to do with certain activities in your life during that particular time. So it's important for you to know whether you've got any planets in those particular locations. Now, Saturn, on the other hand, is a detrimental influence in our life. It rules the 3rd ray, and that's the ray of intelligent activity, and it rules karma and the law of cause and effect. So what Saturn is trying to do is to get you to use all energy, time, money and energy wisely. Physical energy, emotional energy, mental energy, wisely. And if you don't use that energy wisely and practically and in a right time constraints, then Saturn will bring you a correction to your thinking processes there in that regard. And that's what karma is all about. So when Saturn is sitting in a particular house of your horoscope, it's trying to bring you to be practical and down to earth with the use of energy in that particular area of your life. Now, Saturn in your horoscope, Aries, is in the 8th house of your horoscope. Now, when Saturn is in the 8th house of your horoscope, what that means is that it's possibly potential there for the death of somebody in that time. There's also frustrations with joint finances. Your partner and yourself are being called upon to be practical, down to earth, and budget wisely with your joint finances. There'll be frustrations to do with the sexual side of your life with Saturn in the 8th house of your horoscope. And there's going to be quite a lot of frustrations generally to do with changes that you're trying to bring about within yourself. It's as if the universe is against you making those changes inside of yourself that you want to make. You'll, in other words, fall back into habit patterns that you feel as if you've outgrown. And Saturn is in a particular location in the 8th house of your horoscope, Aries, and it's between 18 and 23 degrees in Scorpio, which is your 8th house. Now, if you've got any planets in between 18 degrees Scorpio and 23 degrees Scorpio, Aries, then it means that Saturn is going to be forming a conjunction with those planets in this 2-month period of September and October. And when Saturn forms a conjunction with a particular planet, boy, it's a pretty hard time. It's a pretty tough time. So it's important for you again to have your horoscope done by me so that you can know whether you've got any planets there in those particular locations. So that you can know, okay, I've got Saturn coming into a conjunction with this planet or that planet in my horoscope, and that's a very detrimental time. I've got to be very careful in certain areas of my life. And you will learn about what areas of your life that are ruled by those particular planets when you have your horoscope done by me. So that gives you an idea of what's going on in your life, Aries. During the months of September and October 2014. So it's nice to have had this opportunity to be able to spend this time with you. Now, where do you go from here? Look, I just want to wrap up with a little bit of a tantalising invitation for you to look at what's going on here. If there's any truth at all in what I've told you about your personality and what I've told you just now about the conditions and events that you're experiencing in life, then it means that it's not just, okay, that's astrology and that's the way that it works and they're all just blobs of matter out there, but they do have impact upon me. No, that's not the perception that you can take away from that. The perception that you can take away from that is the fact that the planets are living forces of energy, not just blobs of matter as science says, and that they are the hands of a cosmic clock, and that there is intelligence in the whole scheme of things, and that these planets are sitting in a house of your horoscope and they form relationships with each other. Some of those relationships are positive relationships, meaning that you have done well in past lives to integrate the energies of those two planets and what those two planets stand for into your personality as qualities, principles and values, attributes of your personality. But if those planets are badly aspected with each other, that means that they're in a conjunction, or they're got a square aspect of 90 degrees or an opposition aspect of 180 degrees. And I tell you about what aspects that you've got there in your horoscope when I send you your chart. So you can know whether you've got these good aspects or bad aspects, and the good aspects tell the qualities that you've developed in past lives, or the qualities, principles and values that you are working on to develop in this particular lifetime. You haven't got bad aspects in your horoscope because you've been a bad person and God is trying to punish you. Nothing could be further from the truth. You've set yourself a task before you came into this lifetime to have certain testing situations and environments there in your horoscope, and that you would meet with certain unhappiness and difficulties and stresses and tensions that would bring about changes within yourself in this particular lifetime. It's all got purpose, and it's all designed by you. Now, don't you want to know about this? Don't you want to know what tests that you've set for yourself in this particular lifetime? What I'm inviting you to do, Aries, is to submit your birth details through the Your Horoscope page of my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com. And then I'll send you your horoscope chart free of charge. And that tells you where all of your planets are, and it tells you what aspects that all of these planets form with each other, and therefore what qualities, principles and values that you've developed within yourself in past lives, and what qualities, principles and values that you're in the process of developing in this lifetime. Don't you want to know that? Don't you want to realize that this is spiritual perception? I'm here to help you to develop spiritual perception. What does that mean? You ask yourself. Spiritual perception means to be able to perceive life from a spiritual perspective, to be able to perceive all of life from a spiritual point of view, and to be able to realize that you are a soul and that you have eternal life, that you can never ever die, and that you have come in and out of life hundreds and hundreds of times in the last 90,000 years through 3 continental expressions: Lemuria, Atlantis, and now the current civilization in the last 10,000 years. So look, there's something there for you to learn about yourself from your horoscope, and also from my YouTube videos. There's so much there to learn about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. And what are you trying to achieve in this particular lifetime? So I want to help you to develop that spiritual perception, to be able to see life from a spiritual point of view, and to be able to realize that you have a piece of God and Goddess inside of yourself. And that gives you the powers that God and Goddess enjoy inside of yourself now. Your task, Aries, is to recognize that fact and unfold those powers. And you've had hundreds of lifetimes so far trying to unfold those powers, and you're not quite perfect, or you wouldn't be here. None of us are perfect, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We'd be in higher dimensions of consciousness beyond the human level altogether. So we're all here because we're naughty. We're all here because we refuse to grow. We're all here because we're a bit dumb. We're a bit slow. We're the laggards, and we're here to learn that we can speed up our growth and development, and we can speed up our progress simply by becoming a bit more perceptive about what life is all about and how reincarnation works. Look, I'm happy to help you through my CDs. I've written a book called What Really Matters on astrology, meditation and reincarnation. And I've turned that into 12 CDs audio with my voice, with beautiful backing music, and I take you in and out of meditation time and time again in those 12 CDs. And I send them to you free of charge when you submit your birth details through my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com, SIRIUS.com. Submit your birth details through the Your Horoscope page. I'll send you your horoscope chart together with the link to all of my videos, and also with those 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters. And then if you're really keen to learn more, well, you can get into my intensives 2 and 3 from my second book, Coming Home: An Eternal Journey. and you can become more of the giant that you truly are. And I'm happy to do that for you free of charge. Okay, but there's also a horoscope number 2 that you can get done. That's not just on your sun sign or your rising sign. It's based on your planets individually in your horoscope and the aspects and relationships that they all form with each other. And there won't be another person born, Aries, with the same horoscope as you for another 25,000 years. So you are quite a unique individual. And for only $10, I'll do that horoscope number 2. That tells you what qualities, principles and values that you've developed in past lives. And it tells you what qualities, principles and values that you're in the process of developing in this lifetime. And what sort of experiences that you can experience in life in this particular lifetime for only $10. It's a 20-page printout sent to you by email. And that is unique to you. And then if you want to more in-depth something done personally, my voice recorded on horoscope number 3 for the going price, whatever that is. But I'm not here to push them. That's up to you. So anyway, it's nice to have this opportunity to talk with you, and I hope you've enjoyed the session here with me, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to submit your birth details. Thank you.